This is Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, brought to you by the Iowa Soybean Association, your daily recap of the information that affects Iowa's farmers, producers, and consumers, right here in the heart of the heartland. With reports from our award-winning broadcast team of Dustin Hoffman, Riley Smith, and Mark Magnuson. Now, from the IARN studios in Des Moines, here's Dustin Hoffman.
Good day, everyone, and welcome to Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Dustin Hoffman. Today is Thursday, July the 6th, 2023. We're so glad you could come along with us today. Coming up a little later in the program, I will talk about Prop 12 and the slippery slope that we might be going on with Iowa Ag Secretary Mike Naig. We'll also take a look at that ag weather forecast, but first, let's run down those markets. It's time now for the Ag Matters PM Closing Market Summary, your source for market analysis and settlement prices from the day's trade in Chicago, courtesy of the folks at agmarket.net. Well, we're at the end of another trading day, and it's time to turn to Robin Schmahl of agmarket.net. Robin, what did we see happen in those grain markets today?
Well, I think mainly in the grain markets, we just saw some little bit of price corrections. We saw the corn up because that had a large move down, matched the low that it was a while back before we had a significant rally. And then we had, soybeans being down. So we had divergence there, and wheat was down. So a lot of times wheat and corn moved together. Wheat had a big day yesterday, taking back some of that today. Now, the reason I say it's more of the correction is because with the weather forecast for some more moisture, wetter weather in the Midwest, cooler temperatures going through the 2 weeks of pollination in general in some of the main areas, theoretically should have been a little bit weaker or put a little more pressure on corn. So that's why I think most of it was just kind of a little bit of a relief or price correction based on what we've just gone through recently. Now, we did see strong spreading in the corn. July corn was quite a bit higher than the rest of the contracts. We know we see a large spread between that July and December, both in soybeans and corn soybeans, with the July to November. Large spread in there, inverted market. A lot of that has to do, I think, with inventory or stocks, I should say, maybe being tighter than what even USDA is anticipating. That seems to bear that out because we're looking at only Tuesday we saw deliveries in the July corn contract so far. There's been no other deliveries. It's only on Tuesday we saw some deliveries, and there's been no deliveries in soybeans yet at this point in time. But there's been significant deliveries in wheat, both Kansas City and Chicago. That's underpinning some of that, maintaining the wider spreads.
All right, and so switching over to the livestock side of the marketplace, what did we see and how did they react to those grain prices?
Well, there was some pressure on feeder cattle, which they've been following hand in hand with the price falling last week, and then the prices escalating higher in feeder cattle, the new contract highs. They're pulling back today again. In the live cattle sector, packers are pulling back on slaughter pace here now, and they want to put some pressure on the feedlots to sell some of the animals. Now, packers seem to have a good amount of cattle already forward purchased for the month of July. They still need some, obviously, but that has brought them to be a little more or less aggressive. And so they've floated out some bids so far this week at 175 to 176 in the south and about 290 in the north for the dressed. So far, feedlots have passed on those. They want more, but packers might be fairly staunch on their lower bids because we've been seeing some weakness in box beef. Today at the noon report, Choice was down $1.24 and Select was down $2.33. Now, yesterday, Choice cutouts, or Choice box beef, I should say, Choice cuts were down $5.56. That was pretty substantial. And we've seen this weakness in box beef overall the last couple of weeks. So packers are really trying to play hardball now to get that cash price down a little bit. And that's going to impact the cattle market in the bigger picture outside of their reaction to the corn market and movement in there. On the hogs, they've been incredibly strong over the last week, a little more a week, a lot of spread trading going on between nearby months, back months. They started out the day incredibly strong with July and August just shooting higher, but failed big time with both July and August falling $3 off their high. The cutouts on the midday, the noon report, actually were a little bit lower. And that's following on to strong gains on Tuesday and Wednesday. Both days together were $6.75 higher in cutouts. That really underpinned the market quite a lot.
All right. Well, Robin, if folks want to pick your brains over there at agmarket.net, what's the best way for them to get in touch?
They can call me directly if they'd like at 877-256-3253 or go to our website, agmarket.net. The 844 phone number is there. Pick up the phone, call in, somebody will answer.
All right. Well, Robin, we thank you so much for the insight, and we'll talk to you again real soon.
All right. Thank you, and have a good rest of the week.
And that was Robin Schmahl of agmarket.net. Let's run down those closing numbers for you. That comes to us courtesy of the folks at Bar Chart. September corn is up 13 3/4 at $4.99 even. December new crop up 13 at $5.06 1/2. August soybeans down 20 1/2 at $14.48 1/4. November new crop down 15 1/2 at $13.39 1/2. Soy meal for August was down $1.90 at $4.0820. Soy oil was down $2.05 at $62.98. Chicago wheat down 16 1/4 at $6.58 even. Minneapolis up 1/2 at $8.58 even. Kansas wheat down 2 1/2 at $8.43 3/4. September oats up 16 1/2 at $4.29 1/4. Live cattle for August down 37 cents at $174.57. Feeders for August $2.42 lower at $2.42.27. Lean hogs for July down $1.22 at $100.05. Pork cutouts down 75 cents at $105.82. Class 3 milk was down a penny at $14.91. And that's been a check of the Ag Market Recap. We're going to take a short break and hear from our sponsor, the Iowa Soybean Association and the Soy Checkoff. And when we come back, we talk with Iowa Ag Secretary Mike Naig. This is Ag Matters PM.
Iowa Soybean Association is driven to deliver for Iowa's 40,000 soybean farmers. We're proud to provide objective agronomic research, a helping hand with soil and water stewardship, and timely industry news powered by the Soybean Checkoff. Learn more at iasoybeans.com.
Welcome back to AMPM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Dustin Huffman. Well, we know that Prop 12 was supposed to have gone into effect last Saturday, and the state of California was gracious enough to extend the deadline by 6 months in order to give producers a chance to comply with the new rules. However, it also gives 6 months for Congress to maybe find a solution to get us out of this mess in the first place. Now, we had the chance to talk with Iowa Ag Secretary Mike Naig about that extension of the deadline, about Prop 12 in general, and also about his feelings about what Congress can do to help fix the issue. And he says we may be taking the first steps on a slippery slope. I know you brought up Proposition 12. I mean, we talked about that last month. It was just right on the heels of the Supreme Court's decision. Now, we did get a little bit of a reprieve. They're going to push it back till possibly December 1st now is what they're shooting for, I think is what it is. So, I mean, does that give us some time to adapt or at least see if Congress comes up with a solution?
You know, it does. It gives us that kind of 6-month window. Certainly that certainly is an indication of the practical reality, right? The challenge of actually complying with this and from their side and from the producer side. And so, yeah, it's good, I guess, that you would delay that and try to ease into that transition. Of course, it remains that at the core, this is such a challenging issue that, you know, when I speak with groups now, you can watch people sort of click through this like, well, it's pork today. Gosh, what could it be tomorrow? And, you know, will other states do this? Well, yes, I think we should expect that they would. And it won't just be around food. So again, this decision really opened the door for all manner of restrictions that can be placed on other states, producers of all kinds in other states, just because a state can use their market power. And that's wrong. That's something that's foundational to market access. And I'm not just talking about food here, but that's foundational to market access in this country. So I do think that should heighten the awareness and certainly should compel Congress to try to do something here. I don't know if that can fit into a farm bill conversation. Frankly, I think it belongs on its own because it's important, but I don't really care what vehicle it takes. But I do think that we've got to see some balance brought back into this interstate commerce question.
Well, and that brings up the question. I mean, I shouldn't say the question, but the observation that, Supreme Court's decision means it's not just a California thing. Tomorrow, Nevada could say something and Massachusetts could say something else. And we could have 50 states with 50 different, sets of regulations, and it'd be impossible for anybody to comply with any of them.
Absolutely true. And in fact, you've got, question 3 in Massachusetts already heads down this path. New Jersey, there are already states that are headed down this. And so there is, if you look at that Supreme Court decision broadly, what it basically says is, as long as you impose the same restrictions on the producers or the manufacturers of something in your own state, you can then impose those preferences or those restrictions on folks outside of your state that want to market in. And so it's not just pork. By the way, this is also creates this, this concept of now you're headed for a patchwork of rules and regulations that how would you ever comply with all of them? And they're ever changing. If each legislative session or each new election cycle, you can put a new ballot initiative up, how in the world could you ever comply? How could you ever secure the capital, the financing that you need in order to comply when all you can say is, hey, I only know that I'm going to be compliant until they change the law next election or next time the legislature is in session. From a practical reality, it's just very, very difficult. And the end result, remember, is driving up the cost of production, which drives up the cost of food. And what we really need here is market access. Let consumers truly decide what they want. Don't impose preferences. Let consumers choose what they want, vote with their pocketbook, and the marketplace can then supply that.
Yeah, that has been definitely an interesting conundrum. It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out, though. We have heard from our delegation that there seems to be bipartisan support for a congressional action to take care of this. I mean, Supreme Court basically said, right now, according to the Constitution, this is technically legal. Doesn't make it a good idea, but it's technically legal.
That's right. And, one of the lines in the decision was something like, well, Congress can act on this. Well, Congress can act on a lot of things, but it did say that, right? This is now, if it is not in the purview of the courts, why then it is left to the Congress. It's in the purview of the legislative branch in order to act. And again, I want to stress this, that let's not be too specific in thinking about this. Is not just narrowly focused on pork. And so that's why I think you can build certainly support for something like this across the country. And really, it should be bipartisan because every particular state has something that they export to other states that they could have restrictions imposed on them. And so it's not just pork production, which impacts Iowa disproportionately. It has to be viewed a lot broader than that. And what's the ultimate impact on the American consumer?
And that, again, was Iowa Agriculture Secretary Mike Naig. Let's go ahead and run down that ag weather outlook. Well, Bob Ross couldn't have painted a more beautiful day here in central Iowa. We started off with low humidity and cooler temperatures, plenty of sunshine, just an all-around beautiful, not too heat-stressed of a day. I'd like to see a few more of those hang around, but after the heat we've gotten, the rain is welcomed, and I'm not going to complain about the rain that may even be coming back in our forecast. Let's see what the National Weather Service has in store for the next 24 hours. An absolutely gorgeous day that we had today. We had sunny skies, nice and cool, very pleasant. We saw highs in the mid to upper 70s. Now tonight, skies will be mostly clear. There'll be some clouds in the southwest with chances of rain building there overnight. Lows will be in the low to mid 50s. And then tomorrow, we're going to see those mostly clear skies start to give way to some more rain chances, and we could see highs anywhere in the upper 60s to the upper 70s. Taking a look at the affiliate weather map coming up for you for tomorrow. Cherokee expects some thunderstorms in 69. Shenandoah, chance of thunderstorms in 75. Des Moines, slight chance of some thunderstorms in 76. Same at Waterloo. Albia and Clinton will start to see those clouds roll in, and they'll see highs of 78 with a chance of rain later on in the day. For more detailed forecasts in your area, tune to your local Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network affiliate. And that's been our Ag Weather Outlook. And with that, we're at the end of today's show. You can find all our content online at iowaagnet.com. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok, and on our YouTube channel. And while you're there, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell icon so you can be notified each time we put out a new episode of AMPM, and also be watching for my Brazil series that we've been putting out every Friday. You can also get our free twice daily market podcasts on Apple, Amazon, Google, Spotify, and Podbean. From the IARN studios in Des Moines, I'm Dustin Huffman. For Mark Magnuson and Riley Smith, we thank you for watching. This has been Ag Matters PM.